Well, Sir Keir Starmer will be the next UK Prime Minister after his UK Labor Party decimated the incumbent Conservatives in a landmark election result. To break it all down, we're now joined by Sky News contributor Emily Carver. Emily, a huge result for Labor and Keir Starmer. Take us through the key results.
Yes, it is a huge result for the Labour Party. The socialists are now in government in Britain. There's still a handful of results still to go, but as it stands, they've won 64% of the seats in the House of Commons with just 34% of the vote. But that's our voting system. The Reform Party, led by Nigel Farage, of course, have managed less than a handful of seats on 14% of the vote. And the Conservatives, they are down 240 seats to just 119. This is likely to be their worst result ever in history. Even the former Prime Minister, Liz Truss, has now lost her seat. So what next? We'll have 5 years of a socialist government here in Britain, while the right, I guess, try and sort themselves out. There's so much infighting, there's so much disagreement over why they've lost already. Some people think the Conservatives have gone too far to the left, some think they've gone too far to the right. They need to sort it all out. But after a sunny day yesterday, the heavens have opened, and it's raining in socialist Britain this morning.
Yeah, socialism is back big time in the UK with such a decisive result there for Keir Starmer. But you're right, I would say the Conservatives are going to be in the wilderness now for some time until they gather and figure out exactly who they are. Now, look, you mentioned Nigel Farage. It was a big night for him in the Reform Party. He has finally won a seat on his 8th attempt.
Absolutely. There's been a huge momentum behind the Reform Party. They've come second in so many seats, which is very interesting, in Labour seats too. So this was a massive night for Nigel Farage. His success, I think, it even exceeded his own expectations, to be honest. He's tried and failed on 7 occasions to win a seat in Parliament. Last night was his night. He now promises to make a bloody nuisance of himself in the House of Commons. He wants to drive the Reform Party vote, continue. And he wants to be the next leader of this country now. We'll see how it goes. Our system makes it very difficult indeed for smaller parties to break through. But stranger things have happened here in Britain. He managed to overturn a Conservative majority of over 24,000 to win his seat in Clacton. So yes, he'll be feeling very, very chipper this morning, I'm sure.
Well, Parliament needs people like Nigel Farage now when the majority are now all from the Labor Party. So good on Nigel Farage for finally getting that seat. Now, Emily, obviously the Labor Party has a landslide, but it did seem very clear that it suffered in areas with big Muslim communities, particularly over the stance on the conflict in Gaza. Now, I spoke earlier in this show about how it seems Australia is now heading in that same direction. Take us through the impact of the Muslim vote in the UK.
That's very interesting. It's happening in Australia too. Yes, pro-Gaza candidates essentially squeezed that Labour vote in key Muslim areas. So they've lost a number of what were former strongholds to independent candidates who've come in at the last minute, who have campaigned on purely pro-Gaza platforms. One of the biggest shocks was a shadow minister, Jonathan Ashworth. He's been around for years and years. He lost his seat. He had a majority of more than 22,000 last time around. He's gone now. Now the Labour Party's vote is down on an average by 11 points in seats where more than 10% of the population are Muslim. So, of course, overall, it was a fantastic night for the Labour Party, but they did very badly in areas with a high proportion of Muslim voters. This is worrying. This is concerning that people are voting down religious and sectarian lines. I'm sure there'll be more of this to come.
Absolutely, and I really believe this is a glimpse into what is going to happen here in Australia at our next federal election, and that's what's just been shown in the UK overnight. Look, let's turn now to the royals. There's one person Prince Harry is most scared of, and that's Donald Trump. He is said to have deep regret over disclosing past drug use in his controversial memoir, Spare. And Emily, he is really worried that Trump will deport him if elected.
It's crazy. He wasn't advised by anyone not to reveal this crucial information about the fact he's taken drugs in the past. It's looking increasingly likely after Joe Biden's shocking performances recently that Donald Trump will be the next man in the White House. And this actually genuinely could jeopardize his residency status. He could lose his visa just because he had to tell the world that he's taken drugs in the past. The couple are reportedly taking legal advice now, but it is a real possibility that he could lose his visa. I imagine he would think, this could never happen to me. I'm a member of the royal family. I'm a prince, for goodness sake, but it could.
Yeah, he always thinks he's invincible, that man, but it all points to Donald Trump making a comeback, so let's see. Now, Emily, we can't let you go without wishing you a big congratulations amidst all the chaos of the general election. You got married this week to Patrick Christie's, who our audience can catch weekly on the Bolt Report. How did you both manage to do it in the middle of an election campaign?
It was a little bit stressful, I must admit, but it was all worth it. The day was absolutely wonderful. I think all our friends and family enjoyed the distraction from all the doom and gloom of the election campaign, and it really was really special. The morning, it was raining as typical for British weather, and then the sun came out just as our guests arrived, and for that beautiful ceremony that we managed to have outside in a beautiful venue. It really was a really special. And all of our viewers over at GB News got in touch and said how happy they were for us. So it really was very special. Something bright.
How wonderful, how wonderful. Well, if you can survive a wedding in the middle of a general election campaign, you can survive anything, Emily. Congratulations again, and thank you so much for joining us on the show this evening.
Thank you.